our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
What's going on, B-Town? It's Erik Fox here from Energy 95.3. It is the most wonderful time of the year. We're talking playoff time, and we're also talking about spending some more time with our friend Ryan Holt from the Biggest Little Condors. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. It's quiet over here right now, but in a couple hours it won't be, and we'll be bustling and getting ready for doors opening tonight. You're right; it's the best time of the year. I think it's going to be 97 tomorrow. So, what better way to kick off 97 than with playoff hockey? So, playoff hockey up in Edmonton, playoff hockey in Bakersfield. It's the best.
And it's nice having a semblance of normality this year where, at the beginning of the year, we kind of didn't know how things were going to go. But luckily, they've gone the route they've gone. So we definitely have some fans in the audience. Let's go and start by talking up north where round one is going on right now with the Edmonton Oilers taking on the LA Kings, which is the parent organization of the Condors for our people who are just joining us now. So last night didn't quite go the way they wanted to, but they did have a strong comeback. What did you see in game one with Edmonton and LA?
Yeah, I don't know if I should be picking games because, I just friendly picked all four games last night, and I got all four of them wrong. So
you're the one to blame.
So good thing I can't bet on NHL games because I would have lost some money last night. Anyways, tight game with LA. Quick, the goaltender for LA looked really good. He looked back to his 2012 self, when he was Stanley Cup MVP, and I think. Is he going to be able to do that over the course of a series? We'll see. I think the Kings made some acquisitions in the offseason. I think notably Danault, who has just done a really nice job. He scored the game winner last night, but, he's the type of player that you can win with in the postseason. And, last year he was with Montreal and he shut down some, top guys, like Matthews and, on the way Scheifele, on the way to, getting to the Stanley Cup final. And I think this year, now with LA, he's kind of gone underrated, for him to try and shut down McDavid or shut down Draisaitl, depending on who they want to match him up against. So LA is a strong team, Kopitar and Danault and Byfield down the center. They're coming, there's no doubt about it. I think they've probably overachieved this year, and they're right on the cusp of being a really good team. So
I think that might be one of the dangers where I think maybe people underestimated them a little too much this year, where we saw some teams that expected them to be powerhouses that kind of fizzled towards the end, and you got ones that just came out of nowhere, the Kings, where it's an insane kind of thing right now.
And we'll talk about it a bit with kind of the Condors and Canucks too. It's the same type of thing. It's if you don't go out and play and play to your potential. If you bring your A game and another team brings their A game, someone is going to have a better game. Oilers, Kings, that's probably tilted towards the Oilers side. But if the Oilers bring their B-plus game and the Kings bring their A game, now all of a sudden it's, 50-50 in a toss-up. It's going to be a close series regardless. I saw a lot of people saying Oilers in 5 and whatever. I think they're just, they're closer than what you think. They'll make adjustments. If I know Jay Woodcroft, like I know Jay Woodcroft, they'll have a game plan going into game 2. Game 1's already, in the books. I don't think they played terrible last night. Do I think they played their best? No. And they, it comes down to a mistake and ended up in the back of the, Oilers net. So excited for game 2. It's going to be an exciting series, and, playoffs are already off and running.
What's your prediction for the series?
I shouldn't make predictions at this point. But I do think it'll be a tight series, And one thing I can share is, with Jay and Dave, and going through playoff runs with them over the last couple of years, whatever happens is in the past, and you only get one win, so whether you win 5-1, whether you win 4-3, whether it's a 4 overtime game. I mean, we've been through it all with the Condors, and, it's always, all right, let's move along. You can't do anything about what's happened. So, it's a race to 4. It's not a race to, 1. So, we'll see what happens going into tomorrow, but tomorrow's a big one. You don't want to get a split on home ice before you have to head on the road to LA.
It's going to be an interesting series to watch. Let's go and jump to the local stuff. Talking about, Jay was behind the bench with some really strong powerhouses.
Yeah.
But a new leadership team. But we are into playoff hockey, Calder Cup playoff hockey. which is so nice to be able to say this year. So what have we seen? So obviously Abbotsford, it's a 3-game series going down starting tonight right here in B-Town. Let's go and do the rundown. I think we need to kind of see where the matchup is, because Abbotsford has been really going on all cylinders lately. Let's go and start with defense. What are you seeing with the defensemen on both sides?
Yeah, you're right. Abbotsford has been firing on all cylinders, and the Condors will host all 3 games of the series, mainly because Abbotsford slipped up. They went to Winnipeg and they just needed a point, and they didn't get one. And the Condors needed to take care of business and did that on Saturday night. Had almost 7,000 people here, and just a great atmosphere, and beat the division champs in Stockton. So great finish for the Condors. It was the most unlikely scenario that the Condors would host the first round, but here we are. And and you mentioned defensively, the Condors were banged up on Saturday. Did get Philip Broberg back from the NHL. Did get Vinny Desharnais, it looks like, back from injury. So the team was a little shorthanded on the back end, but defensively looks to, it's certainly not the A defensive core, but it's a solid defensive core. And when we talked about the Condors the last half of the season, it's been their ability to play 5-on-5. They've won 19 in their last, I think 32 games down the stretch. You don't do that without good defensive core, no matter who's back there. And do they have injuries? Yeah, certainly. Phil Kemp, Dmitry Samorukov, Marcus Niemelainen, like, these guys are injured, and it's difficult. But guys have stepped up and done a nice job. On the Abbotsford side, they've got a veteran defensive core. Madison Bowie is the name you're going to watch. He's a playoff type of guy, a guy who's physical on the back end. And then there's stud defenseman Jack Rathbone, who was named to the AHL All-Rookie team. Their power play specialist. They have one of the best power plays going. This has to stay 5-on-5. Abbotsford's power play is too good and can overwhelm you at times. So, it's going to be a good matchup. I honestly expect a low-scoring series. So, defensively, I think both are going to be good.
Well, it's not going to be a low-scoring series if the people that are in charge of crashing the nets are crashing the nets. Let's talk forwards for both teams.
Yeah, for the Condors, Dylan Holloway returned on Saturday. That's a huge boost, offensively for the Condors. It's amazing what one or two players can do, for a lineup, and you just see the speed and the skill, of Holloway. He's an NHL player, and he will be full time, and this probably might be his last run with the Condors, which is great for us, and great to see him back healthy. He missed the last 3 weeks, so he makes a huge difference up front for this team. Seth Griffith had 30 goals. Adam Cracknell had a terrific April. So the pieces are there for this team. Brad Malone, Luke Esposito, the experience. You look on the flip side, Abbotsford's loaded up. They got 5 guys back from the NHL. One was in the NHL the entire year. Their 2019 first-round pick, in Puck Colson. He's going to play probably tonight. So he played 79 games in the NHL this year. And, he's 20 years old, and this is his first AHL experience. And, it is what it is. Vancouver's not in the postseason, so it affords them an opportunity, to send some guys down. But they have Sheldon Dries and Sheldon Rempel and Nick Batan. If they get going, they're going to be a tough wagon to haul, because we saw what the Canucks were last week when they didn't have 4 of those guys up front. You can only imagine what you have when you add them in. But again, you got to play, and you got to bring your A game. If they bring their B game, we're right in it. So we'll see what happens.
And of course, to keep it a low-scoring game, you got to have the crazy guys and all the pads behind, in front of the nets. Let's talk goaltending for both teams.
Yeah, Spencer Martin comes back from the NHL. He had a terrific season for Abbotsford. He's been up in Vancouver for the last couple of weeks. They had some injuries down the stretch. I would expect Spencer Martin to play tonight. He went 19-4 this year. His best season as a pro, and it's his 4th or 5th year. He earned an NHL deal for next year. So he'll probably be in Vancouver full-time next season, but had a terrific AHL season. And again, a guy who is going to want to impress here and be the backbone of this Abbotsford team. On the flip side, we know Stuart Skinner. We know what he brings. He's 6-3 in the postseason. Backstopped the team to a Pacific Division championship last year. Had a big night on Saturday against Stockton as well, too. Stopped, I think it was 29 out of 30 on Saturday. So he's in form right now. And, I think the The question mark going into this is, playoff hockey. Overtimes can get long and games can get tight and more stressful. It is a back-to-back to start things. Tuesday, Wednesday. Typically, when it's home, Stu's been able to start both games. We'll see what happens tonight. But again, we've seen in the past with some overtimes having to kind of dive deep into that reservoir, I guess, of goaltending. Abbotsford's backup is Mikey DiPietro. He just beat the Condors, twice or three times down the stretch here, and looked good doing it. The Condors backup is Ilya Konovalov, and he hasn't played in a month. So, not to say Ilya is not capable, but if it gets to that point, the ones are definitely equal. The 1Bs, I guess, are a little slanted towards DiPietro, but hopefully that's not the case.
Well, we'll have to see. Obviously, it's always a nice thing that all three games are here in Baco.
Yeah.
That's going to be a rough series. I mean, we know it's going to be a rough series, but what the Condors have definitely had the resolve and the fight in them, especially with the tough series that they've faced as they went along. So tickets, information, and all that fun stuff for people that need to fill that arena tonight. And tomorrow night,
BakersfieldCondors.com. The easiest way to get tickets right now if you're watching, and then the box office opens at 12, doors open at 6, puck drops at 7. We've got $5 margaritas all round long. So tonight, tomorrow, a little pre-Cinco de Mayo action. And then if necessary, if we split the first two games, game 3 is Monday night at 7 o'clock right back here in downtown Condors Town. So hoping that's not the case, hoping a couple of wins. But as our head coach Colin Chakas said, we're keeping a micro focus. So I'm focused right now on breakfast, and then I'll focus on lunch, and then I'll focus on the game because he said keep a micro focus. So I'm fully focused on this, and then breakfast right after.
The important things in life for Ryan Holt right there. And of course, if you are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, you can also stop at energy953.com. We actually have some tickets you can sign up to win as well. It's going to be a blast. So I'm going to be out there. I hope everyone's out there. It's going to be a great time. Yeah. And of course, if you are out of Condors Town or we get sold out or whatever, AHL TV is going to have it all, right?
AHLTV.com, all postseason long. And if we do get some road games, we'll have some watch parties and stuff too. But we're at home the first round, and these guys have worked hard, all season long to be able to get home ice. And they battled down the stretch. They had to beat Stockton twice in regulation to even get home ice, and to do that is speaks a lot about this team and its character. And it's gonna be a tough series against Abbotsford. They're really good. But we're really good too. So that should be a fun first round series. This is one you kind of want a best of 7, but it's just a best of 3, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. But got to get off to a good start tonight, and hopefully it goes from there.
It's all going down tonight and tomorrow night right here in Condors Town. Ryan Holt, always appreciate the time. As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Let's do it.
It's playoff time. Let's do it. We'll hit you next time right here with another Energy 95.3 Condors Connection. I'm going to go get my coffee now. Talk to you.